There are so many climate change activists that are so despondent right now. And to them, I would just like to say, every time they're in a documentary, desperate for people's attention, that's my self-care. It's my wind down. And I wish I could say I was joking, but the more that I see climate change activists on screen, the more I'm like, well, it's not all just about Muslims.
My name is Zara. I am a feminist Muslim Iranian American comedian. Oh my God, thank you! Thank you! Please keep that going, my God!
I've always been looking for opportunities to be on stage. We used to put plays up in the garage, and I would go around and charge people in the neighborhood a quarter to come to our show and support our theater. And I would get all of the kids in the cul-de-sac to perform, and I would assign them parts, backstage and on stage. I guess the performative dynamic is one that I just grew up really familiar with, and so it's comfortable for me in a way that probably for some people it's not.
I will be speaking on behalf of all Muslims this evening, in case you were wondering. This is fact, everything I'm about to say. I am the pork-eating, alcohol-drinking, premarital, sex-having kind of Muslim. Every time I say that, there's always someone like, I'm that kind of Catholic!
I didn't start doing comedy until college. It was for the Iranian Student Cultural Organization. We had a talent show, and the guy who was running it was a friend of mine, and he was like, I want you to take all of your stories about your dad and just string them together into a 15-minute routine.
Tell you guys a little bit about my dad. My dad has two favorite words in the English language, the shit and the hill. When I was a little girl, first generation immigrants in the house? Yeah! A minus? No. So all these white guys were like, what's wrong with C+? A minus. A minus. My dad was like, what the shit the hell is this? The shit the hell is this? It was like he was looking at me with his eyes saying, we did not escape a revolution and swim the Atlantic Ocean and kiss the feet of the Statue of Liberty for you to get an A minus in algebra. Algebra? Are people invented algebra? You infidel!
After that, I went to this place called The Brainwash, which is this comedian's hazing in San Francisco. It's a laundromat / cafe. So people have to do their laundry and then they can't leave. When I went, it was 11 o'clock at night. There was 5 people in the audience. 3 of them were comics, and I bombed hard. But I was like, I can't wait to do this again. And I was like, oh, I want to do comedy.
I'm Persian, Iranian. Do you guys know what that is? We're white people. That's what everybody told me to say when I was a kid. Whenever I was like, Mom, Dad, people keep asking me where we're from. We're white. We're white. So people are asking me, we're white. We're white, we're white, we're white, and these are Prada. That's what she said. Got it, Mom. Shit. 5 years old, wearing Prada.
You get together at an open mic, usually 6 to 1 a.m. at a sports bar, and it's usually with straight white guys between the ages of 18 to 25 that show up, usually is the majority. And they're like, I'm really funny and I think I'm really funny and my friends think I'm really funny too and we all think we're really funny and we're all gonna hang out, we're all gonna laugh at each other's jokes, and so it's obvious that we're all really funny. And you're not that, and so I don't know if you're that funny. So yeah, you're performing 6 to 7 nights a week, and always it's these kinds of spaces. And so it's all the same kind of people. So then it starts to self-select its audience. I have to kind of force my way in. and find ways of requiring audience to see me, because the truth is that institutionally they're not built to see me, right? Like in terms of everything we're told about Muslims, either they expect to see me as a part of like some cultural experience or on NPR. The reason why there's like one set dynamic is because for so long we've had this default notion of comedy as white and the white experience, and that's the default experience, and you speak to the white experience. But we're not doing that anymore, and I'm not doing that. So my audience is always changing, and so my dynamic with them is always changing, and I have to constantly change the order of my material based off of the response I'm getting from that audience, how much they're with me, how much they're learning, you know, how much they get, how much they don't.
You know what I mean? I'm so excited to talk about race. I'm so stoked, I'm so jazzed. Because like all the time, some people, white people will be like, does it have to be about race? And then now I'm like, can it be about race now? Can it be about race now? So the president ran on a white supremacist ticket, can it be about race now?
It is useful to be in front of audiences that don't get stuff, because it's useful. And certainly I enjoy the challenge. I would say I'm confronted with a challenge more often than I'm confronted with a situation where everybody's in on it. That's rare. There's always the white liberal crowd that is like, you know, I came to this show. I bought a ticket. You know, I'm here. So this is divisive. I'm over it. You know why? I think I know why it is. Is because that kind of reaction refuses to see itself. You know what I mean? A guy who's an asshole is gonna be like, yeah, I'm an asshole, and I'm working really hard. Okay, I can deal with that. But a person who refuses to see the ways that they're so entitled and they won't look at it because they're ashamed of it, and so they're not gonna look at it and they're just gonna push it all onto you. Don't go to a comedy club. A comedy club is a place where you look at yourself and you laugh.
It's a good time to be Muslim. They say there's no such thing as bad PR, so.
It was awesome to perform at the White Horse. The people who gather there are people who have been through a lot and are still going through a lot. And it was a lot of queer people, it was a lot of queer folks of color. They really were in on my context like right away. And so it was so fun to experiment, to play villain, to inhabit an unapologetic voice, not to explain things, not to educate people.
I used to have a joke that was like, Lindsay Lohan wishes she was Muslim, she's Muslim now. Did you know that? Did you know that? She's fucking Muslim. Yeah, right. I know. Are you Muslim? You're just enjoying this? As much as me. Except mine is more like,
So when people ask me, like, who's your audience? And they expect that I'm gonna say, oh, Muslims are my audience, or white people are my audience, or people of color are my audience, or queer people are my audience. Like, but it's not. It's, you know, I think the intersectional community, or people with intersectional politics, who also don't fit into the cookie cutter mold, but value each other's rights and stories, and value unique and different stories and voices, and appreciate that. Or people who want to learn something about Muslims on behalf of all Muslims, and then find out it's me and are disappointed, but it's too late because you just showed up. Call me Netflix. Call me Netflix. Call me Netflix. Just call me.
Yeah, you're right. That's